July 5th, 2018 Town Board meeting. We're going to start with Maxwell Salvo with the, I'm on hold, hold on. Start over? Okay. We're going to start with Maxwell Salvo, our Junior Deputy Supervisor for the month of July, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and also for a moment of silence for all those that protect us throughout the world.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Maxwell, now you get to be sworn in by our lovely town clerk, Desiree Podvan.
Raise your hand like this. I'm going to say, state your name, but don't say state your name. Say your name instead, okay? Repeat after me. Put your hand like this.
I,
Say your name.
Maxwell Salvo,
Promise to perform
promise to perform
the duties of
the duties of
Junior Deputy Supervisor
Junior Deputy Supervisor
for the month of
for the month of
July 2018
July 2018
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Okay, now I'm going to give you a certificate.
You don't get a per diem for that either. Yeah. Here we go. No voucher. No voucher for that one.
So Maxwell and I got to meet at the cleanup day for the town of Woodbury. And I saw him there, and I asked him, how would you love to be my junior deputy supervisor? And his face lit up, and I was very happy, and I'm very proud of you, Maxwell. And this certificate of acknowledgement. This certificate is to acknowledge Maxwell Salvo has been bestowed the title of Junior Deputy Supervisor for the month of July 2018, signed by Supervisor Frank J. Palermo, the town of Woodbury. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right, and we've got one more award for you, as you're going to be the first junior deputy supervisor to receive an award from our own county legislator, Lori Tuttle.
So Maxwell, I heard from Supervisor Palermo what you did in this community and how you helped with the cleanup. And I am presenting you with the Distinguished Service Award from the County of Orange, presented to Maxwell Salvo, Junior Supervisor, Town of Woodbury, for outstanding community service and dedicated individual efforts, given this 5th day of July, 2018, signed by myself and L. Stephen Brescia, the Chairman of the Legislature. Congratulations. Congratulations. Good luck.
Free ice cream at the parks.
All right, Maxwell, you did your job. You did a great job. Thank you.
Good job.
Good job. All right, let's move on to the meeting. We have public input on the agenda items. If there's anyone who wants to speak up in the second row.
Sandy Capriglione. I wanted to ask some questions about the resolution that's on the agenda for tonight. Under, I guess if you count the whereas, under whereas number 4, when it says the town board just recently learned, can you tell me what date you recently learned?
I don't have that exact date.
How about a month?
This has been ongoing since I took office, so, no, I
So-
don't have an exact month either.
No, how about a season?
How
Was it
about
the
a year?
winter? Was it the
2000
spring?
2018.
Okay. All right. Then in whereas number 6, previously verbally authorized the attorneys for the town. What about a date for that?
It was at one of our work sessions. I
Can
don't
you-
have the exact
Can you tell me
date.
which one?
I don't remember exactly which one offhand right now.
Okay, so Mr. McKay, you're here. Maybe you can answer. If a vote is taken in an executive session, is there supposed to be any kind of record of that vote?
An attorney-client session, what was your question?
In, as far as the attorney-client or an executive session, if there is a vote taken on any kind of matter, is there supposed to be any record of that at all, anywhere?
There wouldn't be a vote per se, there wouldn't be minutes of an attorney-client session.
So there wouldn't be a vote, you said?
It wouldn't be a record.
So there could be a vote, but no record of it?
There was
I don't
no
want-
record. There was no vote. We just gave an opinion from everybody, and we felt we wanted to move forward. But there was no official vote.
Then why in the paper was it?
I don't believe everything that's in the paper, Sandy. Come
Well,
on.
it was the press release that you gave to the Photo News, so that's why I'm trying to understand this. I've put in a FOIL with the Photo News, and I haven't received an answer to that yet. I put in a FOIL with the town, and I was told that there was no documentation of it. So that's where I'm curious as to why it was reported that there was a 5-0 vote.
I can't tell you why the newspaper put it in as a 5-0 vote. There was no 5-0 vote.
Okay, well, then if you're the supervisor and you provided the press release, and there was no...
I did not provide a press release that stated that there was a 5-0 vote.
I did not say that. I said you provided the press release. The newspaper reported that it was, the exact words were that it was filed in Goshen, and that it was by a 5-0 vote that this board had the lawsuit move forward. So if that's an error, and you read the newspaper just like everybody else, why wouldn't you correct that error immediately?
I didn't see the need to. I mean,
You
if
didn't
you
see
want to
the
believe
need to,
everything you read in the newspaper,
Oh, I
that's
certainly
your
don't.
prerogative.
I certainly don't, but it was a part of
But I'm not going
the-
to argue with you. You
Well-
came in and asked for it. You were explained that it was a mistake in the paper.
No,
and
I
you
was not
wanna-
explained that
well,
there was a mistake
okay.
in the paper. I foiled it, and I can read you the foil if you'd like.
I saw it.
Okay, so it says, there are no documents to fill, or to file, on file to fill your request.
Exactly, because there was no vote.
Okay, so, but at what point do you just allow this stuff to hang out in the newspaper and be fake news, if you will, if you know that it's not right? Okay, well, whatever. So, so now you're saying that that didn't occur? There was no 5-0 vote?
For the 5th time, yes.
Okay. But then why does it say under number 2 of the resolution, the town board acknowledges that it had previously authorized CMMR in the attorney-client session to commence the lawsuit?
Because we did authorize him to commence the lawsuit.
Can
And
I,
that was by 5-0?
No,
It wasn't.
no.
So then if I write to the paper tomorrow and I ask them to do a little research and present it properly, that would be okay?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so you don't remember the date that that was done, but you do remember the details of it. Okay, on number 3, where you say that CMMR shall be compensated, are there any parameters as far as the financial compensation, how far it can go? Are we talking 50,000, 100,000, or just until it's settled?
I don't think it's 50,000, and I don't think it's 100,000.
I'm not asking you.
But no,
I'm
there
asking you, are there any
no,
financial
we asked them-
parameters?
We asked them to move forward with it.
With no financial parameters?
No.
Okay. And it's my understanding that in the lawsuit, you're asking the village to pay for whatever fees that there are.
Yes.
Okay, so either way, it's either out of the taxpayer's right pocket or left pocket, but it's out of one of the taxpayers' pockets. And yes, I have an attitude because I'm really, really angry that this is happening.
Well,
In-
to be perfectly honest with you, Sandy, had the previous supervisor and the current mayor actually did what their town boards voted them to do, we wouldn't be even here
I'm
discussing
not
this.
going to argue the legality of this.
Well, I'm just telling you, so
Well,
you could be as
because it never
angry
should
as
have-
you want.
It never should have gotten to this point. But
You're right.
Anyway.
It shouldn't have.
Right, you should have picked up the phone because I'm sure you know the village's phone number. Anyway.
That will go over well.
Number 5, the town supervisor is formally authorized to execute any and all documents subject to the review and approval of CMMR, Mr. McKay's office, necessary to prosecute such litigation. Isn't that almost verbatim the same exact wording that, outside of you, Mr. Palermo, that these 3 board members okayed with Supervisor Sutz to move forward on the land transfer? It's almost
The
verbatim.
only thing that I will say to you on that is what I just said to you. Had Mr. Sutz gone to speak to our attorney, which is what the resolution specifically states, we wouldn't be here. But
Well-
he chose to avoid it, and I'm not going to
That's
go further into this
Your side of it, and
lawsuit.
I'm not going to go through, I'm not-
Thank
certainly
you.
not going to litigate it. I'm just saying, at what point do you 3 members sit back and say, you know what, we did this once already. We gave sole authority to a supervisor to do something, and then none of us followed up on it. Maybe it's time that we enact, that we take that out, and that we make joint decisions as far as how this is going to move forward. To me, again, I'm not trying to chastise you, I'm just trying to say that everybody should learn from mistakes, and if this is almost verbatim, the same language, it would be wise to not just have one person in charge, so that we don't go through another lawsuit. And finally, if this lawsuit is any indication that you weren't previously paying attention, or that you didn't follow up on things, it makes no sense to give the supervisor sole authority. I know after last November's election, I expected the communication between the 2 boards to be tenuous at best, but I never thought that the residents would have to witness such a breakdown of basic human skills of speaking. And if I hear one more time, oh, they could call me, in this case,
No,
it
you
didn't
know what,
happen that
Sandra?
way.
You know what, Sandra?
What?
Let me
What?
explain to you something that happened, that you think that this is such a great thing. No, hear what I got to say.
I think the
Hear
lawsuit
what I
is
have to say.
terrible.
Okay? You just hear what I have to say.
Go ahead.
On a Friday afternoon, Michael, the mayor, was walking out of town hall, and I'm coming in. It was after 12 o'clock. I said to him, hey, Mike, how you doing? You come to talk to me? No, it's after 12 o'clock. We're in summer hours, and he walked right past me. A hell of a mayor to do something like that.
Well-
when he operates on a timetable. So if you
Okay.
think that if I
Okay.
called him up and I said to him, hey, you know, Mr. Mayor, we got a problem here with this lawsuit. He would have said either 2 things to me. One, I can't say on TV, and the other one would have been, sue me.
Well,
Okay?
I don't
So-
know where your crystal ball is.
Okay.
But as the highest elected official and the highest paid official of this town, I think you owe it to all the residents and to your board to schedule, before this even got to this point, a meeting should have been scheduled. If you schedule that meeting and then the mayor and his 4 trustees said, nope, then you'd have a leg to stand on. But there wasn't even an attempt. Was there? Was there any attempt made to speak to the mayor or the trustees? Did you call a joint meeting? Did you ask if you could have a joint meeting? Was that ever discussed?
No.
Okay. I guess that answers all my.
Good. Anybody else?
Robin Kraus, Highland Mills. Same topic, actually. I agree, and actually had the questions that Sandy had, so I will not repeat them. But I'm going to not go over the resolution right now, but I'm referring to the June 21st Town Board minutes. It's not numbered, so I don't know what page, but it's under town board member comments. Supervisor Palermo thanked Assemblyman Skoufis for the $125,000 he gave to the village to be used for their road paving program. He looks forward to him becoming our next senator, congratulated the police department on their major drug bust. Regarding the lawsuit the town brought against the village, he asked residents to please read about the issue prior to spouting about it. Both Councilman Arone and Essig have reached out to the village to resolve the issue without spending more money than has already been spent. Well, it should be spent. They are waiting for a response. So my question partially is, again, why was any money spent? This is the most ridiculous thing since I have been in Woodbury that has occurred between, well, we didn't have a village at the time, but, you know, to be quite frank, it's time for you all to put your big boy pants on and sit down and talk with adults to adults and act like adults. So far we think, well, he didn't call me, so I didn't bother calling him. I mean, really, Frank, are we on the playground? This is ridiculous. And how much money, by the way, you don't want to spend more money? How much money has it cost the taxpayers so far?
Haven't got a bill yet.
Yeah. No, Mr. McKay, how much are we paying you so far? I'm sure you know what you've gotten paid.
Any other questions?
Great.
Or
I
comments?
love the lack of transparency and the lack of, that's all right. To be continued another day, I'm sure.
Anybody else?
Maria Hunter. I'm here as a resident tonight of Woodbury. In the resolution that you're going to read tonight about the litigation, I just have a suggestion for number 5. Sandy had brought this up prior about the town super is formally authorized. At home, I was like writing down from my experience from working in 2 different attorney offices, after informing all town board members of any and all information that may arise to continue to prosecute this lawsuit, probably should be inserted into that resolution, so we don't have this issue that happened last year and have going forward this year. It's just purely a suggestion on my part, and no
Okay.
disrespect to you,
No.
Mr.
Can you just
Supervisor.
repeat that? I'm sorry.
To the language to say, after informing all town board members of any and all information that may arise to continue to prosecute this lawsuit. Once,
Rather than just leaving it on me.
right, so that once you
I
get
have
the
no
informa-
problem
once
with
you get
that,
the-
Maria.
It's just a suggestion that once you get the information, you can disseminate to the rest of the board members, and they can say, yes, I agree with you, and that takes the onus off of you, and it lets all 5 board members take a responsibility.
I have no problem with that. In fact, that's exactly what I do. I think each and every board member here can basically say that I do keep them as informed as I can, and I really don't try to hide, and especially on this lawsuit. I have sat down, we have met, and I've given them all paperwork that are involved in this lawsuit. So
And that's-
there's nothing I'm trying to hide.
I know, I'm just a
I know,
suggestion, it just
and
covers
it's a good
all of you.
suggestion. Joe?
I just want to be very clear. That paragraph that authorizes the supervisor to execute any documents is, to me, a formality. Because as the supervisor, he is the official that would sign any of the documents. My firm represents the entire board. We don't represent just 1 or 2 councilmen or just the supervisor.
I know, I understand it very well.
My firm will take no action unless a majority of the board authorizes that action to be taken, period. That sentence in the resolution that also authorizes the supervisor to execute documents is subject to a 5-0 vote. So that's how it would work.
I understand that, but for appearances and for clarity and for transparency, if you don't put something in writing, it's not there. And I know that from my own experience with my own prior planning board attorneys, that if it's not written in the code, it doesn't exist. That's just my suggestion. It just, to me, it protects everyone.
I don't have a problem. You have a problem with changing it, Joe? We'll just read it off it that way.
No,
I have no problem with
have
it.
no
But
problem.
I understand
And I thank you.
procedures.
Thank you.
And I just have one other item, and it's on your new business number 3, letter A, the approval of Lorelei Pitt as a budget consultant for $6,965.
Correct.
I went and I did some review. The town board from 2015, they did the budget for 2016, which had, I can't remember the exact number, a little over $6,100 plus dollars for a budget officer. In 2016 and 2017, there was no budget officer used. The prior supervisor did that work of the budget with the help of Eileen Sutherland, I forget what her title is, in the back office, and it saved the town residents $12,000, $13,000 over 2 years. Last year, when you did the budget for 2018, and I have a copy of that, there are 3 line items. It's all zero. My question to the board is, you want to pay someone $69.65 for a budget, where for the last 2 years, we didn't have somebody. And the prior supervisor didn't pay for anyone. They did it together with himself and a town employee. I don't see why that is occurring, because in this time and age, we want to save money wherever we can. And as a full-time supervisor, I have faith in you. You can go to classes and everything with Eileen, and Eileen will be the best support that you can have to put a budget together. And I just can't see the increase from Lorelei's letter that was on the town website. In 2015, she submitted a bill for $6,500 and change. And this year, if you go from 2015 to 2018, that's a 6.1%.
I think she went like 2%.
But she
per
didn't
year.
work for 2 years, so why is she
Well, I
even
think she's
given?
looking
I'm
at
just
it.
trying to look at
No, I
numbers.
understand what you're saying.
It's a $400 increase from 2 years ago when she did the work. She didn't work, so why is she getting that large of an increase? And it's just, to me, our taxes are high enough with town, village, county, school, and everything else in between. I like to see some savings somewhere, and I think possibly to save $6,900 to the people, because it's not in the budget. Where's it coming from?
Well, sometimes, people try to save money and they cost you a lot more money. We are finding that a lot of things that were put in on the revenue side was grossly overstated, and on our expense side is greatly underestimated. It's not a good combination to have, Maria. And I have right now department heads coming to me, well, I see it, and I get in touch with them that they're running out of money because it's just not there. A lot of things were combined in the last 2 years and not compensated for. An example, you have the 400 line. Well, he combined about 6 or 7 lines into that 400 line, but kept the 400 line the same. Well, that ain't going to work. I've got department heads that have come to me and said, please, we need to go back to the old way, because as Sandra mentioned many, many months ago, that David shrunk it from 80 pages to 50 pages. Well, that's not being what I would call transparent. And you don't go around just squeezing numbers together and hoping they come out. I got a lot of lines that are not making the point. And I got a lot of expenses. Joey knows. I called Joey up about 2 weeks ago. I said, hey, Joey, you got about $150 left between now and December to spend on this line. And he came running up. What do you mean? I said, well, look at the numbers.
Well, I think
it's a
also-
problem.
I think the merging of the line items caused a lot of confusion. I know we worked with the PD on a couple things, and like, where does this go? And so, yeah, there was, I heard it as
Yeah.
well, you know.
And Lorelei has been with the town, going all the way back to Sheila Conroy. and then John had it. And in fact, with her being there, controlling our, working with us with our budget, when the state did come down to do an audit, they told us that we were in great shape and that they didn't even audit us. So I have complete confidence in her. Not that I don't have the confidence in Eileen, I do. But Eileen did work the budget last year with David. She has confided in me that many times she had asked him to do certain things and he didn't. And we need to find some of these mistakes that are in there. And so I would prefer to have an outside person looking in. That's my personal preference as the supervisor.
All right, well, I find it very disappointing that a 5-member board from last year with the department heads didn't realize that they were short money. I find that
100%.
I find that crazy that if the police department, I'm just throwing them $1 million, I'm just throwing numbers out there, and they were getting less than that, and they needed that million. And I know the chief is very good with numbers. He would have said, hey, I need my million, not 800,000. I'm disappointed in that because there's 5 of you, well, 4 of you here from last year, and Eileen, she's been here for numerous years, and if she didn't say something last year or the year before that, while the former supervisor was here, shame on all of us.
Yeah,
I
well-
mean, there's meetings that the department heads could have said something, and they didn't.
I
Or if they
don't
did,
think-
I wasn't at all the
Yeah,
meetings.
I can tell you for a fact that the department meetings that I was involved in, there was lots of back and forth on that, and there was communication afterwards. I know I personally was involved in regards to the police department, and
And I'm not picking on the police department, don't take it the wrong.
yeah,
Uh,
and
Yeah.
so there was lots of, I know in regards to cars and vehicles was a big one, and there was a couple other ones. So there's lots of back and forth on that, and lots of confusion as well too.
Just as an example, okay?
And I didn't mean to upset the chief,
no,
but
no,
I'm
no,
just using that, because he was here, I didn't
No,
see Joey, or
that's
else I would have
okay.
picked on you, Joey.
It's okay. We had, here's the perfect, first of all, he allowed us an hour and a half to do a budget, $12 million budget in an hour and a half, okay? And I even asked for a second day to do a review, and it was denied, okay? That's
I'm
number
sorry to
one.
hear that.
No, me too. I was not happy about it. The second thing was, I specifically asked how many police officers was I getting, and his answer was 2. But what he didn't tell anybody is that I get 2 police officers starting January 1st, which means I'm getting 1 officer. So, July 1st, I'm sorry, July 1st, which means I'm getting only 1 officer, so we were lied to on that. It's just, we asked certain questions in the budget, and he couldn't answer them, because he couldn't. So, this is not a good situation, but it's the budget I was given, and I'm trying to work with it. And I've asked for Lorelei to come in because I have complete confidence in her. I worked with her when I was the deputy supervisor, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, we need to make sure this budget works, and more importantly, we need to do next year's right. That's very important. So this is why I sometimes say, yes, we're spending $6,900. But I think it's a well-spent $6,900, was my feel.
That's fine, as long as I
Yeah.
can get my head wrapped around it, that's okay. Also with, on a planning board cap now, as chairperson, we have numerous projects coming down the line, and there will be a time when we're gonna be having a scoping document submitted to us. You will also get a copy of it. I would really like you to review it when it involves the ESO services, because you have the town police. I can't tell the town what to do. I need you to look at those documents, and we have projects that are coming down the line, that I want this board to let my board know what is the needs and what you think needs to be done, so that, or come to a meeting and meet, when there's a public hearing, to let us know what the town needs in their capacities for certain things.
Well-
I'm just asking the board to keep that in mind.
I really do appreciate that, Maria. That's a good way that the town and the village can work together. So I appreciate that. Thank
Ample
you.
amount of time to review?
Excuse me?
Will we be
Oh,
given
the scope, once we get the scope, I know one scoping document is being finalized, we should be getting it soon. And yes, the public will have time to review it. we have, the board have to accept it and have a public hearing. I know it's not going to be, it'll probably be more than one public hearing, and it's noticed, so that you're also should be as a, not a lead, interested, thank you, interested party, so that you can put input, thank you, Desiree, so that you need to let us know what some of the needs going forward are, because we have a lot of south end of town that are going to be developed, so that's all I ask of the board.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, with that, we'll close our opening comments, and we'll get down to town business.
Did you want to mention the letter that was received?
I did receive, yes, I did receive, I'm not going to read it, though, but I did receive a letter from a Joe Zada, from Central Valley, discussing the lawsuit. That will go into record. All right, we'll do our administrative business. I need a motion and a second to accept the minutes of the June 21st, 2018 meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'll abstain, I wasn't here.
Okay. I need approval of abstract number 12. Desiree, please.
Abstract number 12 contains vouchers 2018-1097 through 2018-1190, and totals $147,897.15.
I need a motion and a second.
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approval of budget modifications, and there are 3 this time?
Yes. The first is a modification to the budget of the animal control by increasing A 510 estimated revenues by $15,300 and increasing A 3510.466 expenditure of donations by $15,300.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
The next is a modification to the budget of the town board by increasing A 599 appropriated fund balance by $900 and increasing A 1010.400 town board contractual expense by $900.
Need a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And the last is a modification to the budget of the library by decreasing L 7410.411 office supplies by $1,100, L 7410.466 expenditures of donations by $500, and increasing L 7410.412 postage by $100, L 7410.444 schools and dues by $500, L 7410.465 processing supplies by $1,000.
I need a motion and a second. I'll make that motion. Anyone with a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. New business. I need a motion and a second to approve Lorelei Pitt as our budget consultant for $6,965. As I've already explained the situation. She has been here for ever since, I think, 2001. Is that when it was, Desiree? She came in?
I don't know off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, she came in with,
Sheila's took office 2002.
so then
I'm
that's when it
gonna
was,
say
yeah. So she's been here since 2002, up until 2 years ago. Supervisor Burke, myself, and Supervisor Caruso. We all used her, and I'd like to continue that going forward. So I need a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion.
Have a second? No, I'll second it.
Discussion.
Sure.
So I'm happy that you discussed it. I'm happy that it was brought up because, again, I don't know her prior to me, but I was happy to hear this history because being that obviously if she does decide to come back, the concern, obviously, listening to, her bill, but obviously, Tim and Frank, you worked with Lorelei, so I'm going to go with what the past history, being that the town worked with her for how many years now? 15, 20?
Quite a bit.
A lot.
Okay. All right, that's good enough for me.
Okay. Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve the advertising bids for our refuse contract, which will again be for 4 years, 2 plus an option of 2. Got that right? Okay. I need a motion and a second to advertise that.
Motion.
Second? All in favor? Aye.
This
And-
was for the automated, right?
Yes, correct. Same thing that we have now, Bob.
Right.
Yeah, not going back. Yeah.
Just the dates. And also, I think it's the wages.
Yeah,
The-
there's a
the
paragraph,
prevailing
the wages
wages, yeah.
changes with.
Exactly.
Yeah, with
Was
the
that the
tipping,
email you sent us?
Yes.
with the tipping
Yes.
fees,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I need an approval of the resolution for Attorney Joe McKay to proceed with filing lawsuit, Woodbury versus the Village of Woodbury. Do we need to read it, or, no? Okay, since we've already gone through it. I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion with those amended changes we spoke about to the resolution.
Okay,
I'll second the amended changes.
thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. I went over stuff at the last meeting on old business, and I really don't have much to talk about this time. I'll try to keep everybody caught up. I know that they're working on the, up at the res, they laid the concrete down and everything, the frame's all up, so we're just waiting for that to get moving. Camp Res is open, doing very well. I was there yesterday. See all those kids running all over the place. Now, if only Joey can stop the thunder from happening, everybody in the town will be very happy. Board members' comments. Michael, you're up.
Hope everybody had a safe 4th yesterday. Fireworks will be this Saturday. Hopefully, everybody will come out. And I did take a drive up to the res. I did construction. They were working in that heat. That's pretty hot. So I just want to say that I think once that completion is done, it's going to look really
It's
nice.
gonna be nice. It's gonna be a good improvement for
Yeah,
the
I'm
town.
good. I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, one other thing, again, sorry for the loss of Mr.
Okay.
Survivor.
Thank you. That was a private thing for
It's
me.
private.
Thank you. Tim? Bob?
No comments.
Desiree?
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody again that every Sunday through November 18th, the Woodbury Chamber of Commerce is hosting a farmers market down on Valley Avenue. So come on out and buy some local stuff. The pickles were good. Yeah. The mushrooms were great, too. Made a nice little saute from hamburgers. It was good.
Mr. McKay?
I would just like to meet briefly with the board in attorney-client session after the meeting.
Okay. Chief? I don't have much to say. I want to wish everybody, well, you did have a happy and a healthy 4th. And we look forward to continuing this summer and making everybody happy at our reservoir and our pool. So please come out and enjoy it. Thank you for coming. We're going to get a motion to go into executive session. Attorney-client session.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. I need a second. I'll second it. Thank you, Bob. All in favor? Thank you for coming. Have a wonderful and safe evening.